Namaskar. I want to talk about friendship, relationships, loneliness, and spirituality and meditation. We are travelers in this world, and actually, because of our biological existence also, we are such a species. We are not supposed to be alone. We are supposed to be with somebody. There has to be a feeling of belonging to something. Then we feel happy. Biologically, genetically, that's how we are. But the moment comes that you realize that actually we are alone. We are travelers in this world, and nothing is forever. Nothing can be forever. There is this metaphor. There are two trains standing on the platform, and across the platform you are seeing another train, and in the bogie there is another person whom you like, and you meet, there is eye contact, and you are seeing each other, you are looking at each other for a time being, for some time, for several minutes. Then the trains will start to move, and one train will go faster, another train will go slower, maybe one train will go left, another train will go right. So that brief moment of seeing each other, of being in contact with each other, is the moment of our relationship, is the moment of our friendship. And in infinite existence, infinite universe, we just bump at each other. We serve a certain mission, certain purpose. We are just like, this game, what you call it, a pool, no? That you are with the stick you are hitting the balls, and then the balls, you hit the balls and it goes tuck, 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 tuck. it goes into the goal, no? So that is the game, the cosmic game. Sometime, according to the providence, we bump at each other, we correct each other's directions to set up the trajectory right, and then we bump against each other, playing in the cosmic game of the universe. So this is the nature of our relationships. So, therefore, if we are getting attached, we are bound to be frustrated. What is attachment? I experience something and I feel nice. So, I want this experience to go on forever. So I become attached to the form, to the situation. This situation has given me a nice experience. So I want it always stay the same. There is a proverb. You cannot enter into the same river twice, because you are not the same, and river is not the same. You may go the same place, but the river is not the same, and you are not the same also. So in relationship, often we expect a person to remain the same, and neither that person is the same, nor you are the same. I remember one time, I really loved one friend of mine. He is one of my spiritual teachers. We traveled with him, and it was such a beautiful journey. There was nothing special. I was his translator, but it was full of divinity. He was teaching some meditation classes, but I felt divine love. I felt that I really have touched the supreme entity. So I associated that with him. I thought that he is such a great saint, my teacher, that, near him I feel so good, I feel so great. So I missed him like anything. I was writing him letters. Oh, Dada, how are you? Yeah, and then he would also write very nice letters to me back, that he really also enjoyed the time together. And then I remember after some time, maybe after 1 year, we met We hugged each other very, very strongly. We stood like this. And that is it. That was over. That was like, I understood, yes, no. He's a wonderful person. But this shape, this body, this personality is not what I'm searching for. It's different, actually. Actually, what I love is that divinity itself, who was kind enough to appear before me in the form of that person. So that you can imagine now what kind of expectations we create. We experience something this very moment, in this very moment, this very second I experience something. Next day I come and I meet you with expectation. Don't you dare to not fulfill my expectation. Then I will say, oh, you are not the same. You are not the same. Sometimes wife will say about husband, I didn't fall in love with the same person. You're not the same anymore. But the river is flowing, the river is flowing, the river is changing. And if you want to love, you have to love every moment. Not that moment that has happened years ago, but this very moment, this moment which is going on now, which is happening now. Another thing is to see such a beautiful snow is falling, and it is such a beautiful moment. What I was saying? Another thing is that we should give up expectations. Expectations, they kill love. They kill this moment because you are not seeing behind those expectations. You are not seeing this moment. You're expecting something. This is out of your mind. There is nothing to do with reality. You're loving the idol within your mind. You know, it is said in Bible, you shall not create an idol for yourself. So we are very good at creating those idols. We experience something. Then upon that experience, we have put a lot of imagination. And then we fall in love with that imagination. And we never love reality. We do not love reality. So how to be happy if you always love yourself? You always, yourself means not really deeper self, but those idols of yours, those skeletons within your mind, you are loving them. You are not loving the moment, this moment, this reality. So it helps me to feel that I am actually alone. And nobody is with me forever. So when I meet somebody, what I feel the joy of this moment, and I feel happy and grateful for this moment, for now, for today. Whatever will happen tomorrow, maybe we go. How to go together? Maybe, maybe some people I like to go forever with them, without attachment. If I create attachment, I create so many ill things. I will create fear, because then attachment means I am incomplete. That person makes me complete. If I lose that person, then I lose a part of myself. I become incomplete. I surrender to that incompleteness. I give up my completeness and I become incomplete and I become dependent. So, this understanding that we are passengers and we are just there for a moment helps. But also, some people I really want to be with them as long as possible. I know that maybe at least for this life I can be with them. Next life, who knows? But how to be? That is moving together. There is one song I like very much. Let us together move as one. Let us sing with open hearts and focus our minds upon one thought and that thought may be thou. If you move in the same direction, and this is my understanding of the true friendship. Friendship is there, all relationship is there. There is one poet, his name is Amar Khayyam. He says that you better go hungry than you eat something, anything. Don't eat bad food. Better go hungry. Better be alone with just somebody. So this is a nice philosophy of life. You better be alone, because when you are alone, you are complete. You are complete in yourself and you are happy. Go inside. Dive inside. Find happiness inside. And it's okay, you're alone, it's okay. But if you are to find the person, doesn't matter, friend, a partner, whoever. If you are building any tie with anybody, any relationship with anybody, then what should be that person? That person should be a sincere person. And what is a sincere person? The person who is striving from imperfection to perfection, from incompleteness to completeness. It is not good to build a relationship with incomplete, or the person who wants to remain incomplete. Okay, we are all incomplete. But let us help each other to become complete. Of course, one stage is dependence. You are incomplete, you are depending on somebody who is complementing you. The next stage is independence. You are a little bit more complete on yourself. You can, survive in terms of happiness, in terms of emotional satisfaction, in terms of, taking care of yourself in the physical, economical, social, etc. spheres. And then comes interdependence. We are all complete people, but we find that if we complement each other, we will become more and more productive, we will become more and more meaningful together. So that is nice. So I would say the essence, the main ingredient of the friendship is becoming complete in yourself. Becoming complete in yourself. And accepting that nobody is with you forever. And when you let go with blessings, with joy, and without pain. Another thing I want to say, one of my teachers, he wanted to test me. I'm a very social animal. This expression, social animal. I like to be with people, and actually friendship means a lot for me. I love to love, and I love to be loved. I think that's universal for everybody. So I was in an environment when I was really loved. People really did love me, and I really loved people, and that was big, very important part of my life. Then I shifted to another city, and suddenly I'm so alone, and I thought that, these people, they will be writing me every day, they will be asking me, how are you, this and that. Nothing happened like that. Of course, that time there was no messenger, there was no so much of communication. But to my surprise, these people, they were going on, there was their happiness. There was nice environment. Well, slowly, they little bit, okay, how are you? And I hope you are well. That's it. And then slowly, it's just the river have dried up. And I'm like, I thought that you loved me so much, and now I am all alone. So I felt like that. And then nobody to connect with, nobody to share with. And that time there was not even, like to call you have to spend a lot of money. So I was very much alone. And I was suffering, and I was eating candies to, compliment myself, to somehow feel good. I was buying like 2 kilos of nice candies, and I would, after every meal, I would eat one, then I think, okay, I will eat 2, okay, maybe 3. Then I will end up like eating 15 candies, like this, and then put all this, papers from the candies in the bucket, full bucket of this candy wrappings. I remember one time I felt very ashamed when I started up a yoga class, and that was in my actually apartment. So some people would come and I would do the yoga class. And then one of my students, she was showing to another one, look at the bucket. And the bucket is full of the candy wrappings. That was my treatment of depression. I was meditating. You can imagine, I was meditating, doing asanas, but still I went so depressed because I was so lonely. I was so alone. I didn't know what to do with that. How to complete myself? I am incomplete. So one day, I don't know if you can relate to it or not. I think it is a thing to experience. So I read about it before, but I didn't experience it. I knew theoretically, didn't help the theoretical knowledge. But one day what happened? I was singing mantra, and suddenly I felt the presence, the divine presence. I felt that the supreme eternal entity is always with me, was with me, is with me, and always will be with me. And I felt it in such an acute way that it is so real. It is so real. And then it was going on for several days after. I just felt like, okay, in this situation I need nobody. I feel such a sweet love. Such a sweet love. I feel so fulfilled. I am loved and I feel love. I believe actually we all love the essence of existence. We love that consciousness which is all around us. We are looking desperately for that consciousness in the eyes of people, in the moments of love, because the moment of real, honest, direct connection between us, at that moment the windows are opening, and from your soul to his soul, from his soul to your soul, the consciousness is shining forth. The God within you, God within him meet in the embrace of love. And then you're like, wow, this is what I have been looking for. This is what I'm craving for. This is the only thing I need. So that is the situation. But it's not about person, not about situation. It's every moment of life it's like that. But the openness is not there. Sometimes, somehow it happens, then you open up. And at that moment you feel. It's a skill. And then when you are meditating, you are building up, you are actually thinning the skin. No, the skin is very thick. Actually, we are very thick-skinned and very thick-headed. So through that thick skull of ours, nothing penetrates. It's a big crust of, different delusions, fears, attachments, and so many things. So there is upon that consciousness, upon that tenderness within, there are so many things. We are wearing so many clothes on top of us. So when you meditate, you thin it out. It becomes less and less, less and less, less and less. And then there is a moment it breaks open. There is this Rainer Maria Rilke, great German poet, really one of the greatest. He said, God, break me open, because when I am close, I am false. Because when I am close, I am false. So break me, open me, even if I have to feel pain, still break me, because when I will open, then I will become true. So that's okay. Anyway, that is a little bit I'm going. So when I felt that, two things I realized in that journey. Number one, nobody owes me anything. Nobody is with me forever. And then people, normally, they take care about themselves. They move for their own happiness. They owe me nothing. And I should be grateful for whatever they have given me. For those moments they have given me, I should be grateful. And I should not be resentful that they are not continuing. Like the person is paying you money every month, 1,000 euro he is giving you, and just for free, for nothing, without expectation, nothing. And then one day he stops to give you 1,000 euro. You feel, you, such a bad person, you stopped giving me money. So I think in relationship is something like that. And then instead of appreciating whatever has happened, we become resentful. Oh, why? So at that moment I realized that, no, nobody owes me anything. Actually, whatever happens, I receive with gratefulness. And number two, first I realized I'm alone in this world. I'm alone. So don't you expect from anybody anything, because essentially you're alone. Essentially everyone moves on their own trajectories. Don't expect. And second thing I realized is that I'm never alone. That divine presence is always with me. It is me who is not open. That's why I do not see. It is my ego. It is my mind closed. That's why I cannot receive. That's why I cannot perceive. And then that was a liberation. From that moment, I lost the fear of loneliness. The loneliness is not anymore an issue, because I know I'm never alone. Anyway, I was speaking about friendship and relationship, and that is also a satsang, a connection with the Supreme. So let us find such a person who is moving in the same direction towards the greatness, and then inspiring you to move towards the greatness with a similar speed, with a similar direction. And do not search for friendship which is just sentimental. Oh, I just feel good, that's okay. There has to be some ideals backing up the friendship. And one more thing I want to say, and I will finish this thinking process. There is something nice about relationship. It's actually about relationship between disciple and teacher and guru. But it applies to everybody, I feel. The one who is always blessing you with pleasant things is your enemy. The one, because he's spoiling you, the one who is always restricting you and disciplining you and punishing you and, making your life harder is your enemy, because he is just suppressing you. But the person who is disciplining you, at the same time blessing you, who gives you love, and at the same time build some limits. The limits to limit, to restrict the animality within you. You restrict the lower nature to release the higher nature. That's how with my father was. with my mother, I would misbehave, and she couldn't control. Because I knew the way, you know. I would cry in such a way that she could not. She was so totally helpless. So I always would have my way. And my father, I never had my way. He would say, okay, now if you want to go to play, you have to do this work. And then he would give me very, very nonsense kind of works. They were like old planks, and I would take out the nails, and then I would straighten those nails, and then he would reuse those nails like for the for the construction work. I truly hated that work, but my father say, sit, do this work, unless you have done, you cannot go. And it was like, okay, he would put me in a framework. And with him, I didn't ever dare to disobey or misbehave. And I loved to be with him. Because, why? Because of that feeling. He put me in the shape of a human. He would not allow the animal in me dominate. He would make the human come out. And I loved that. Because human is happier than animal. So friendship is always love and restrictions. We should help each other maintain our humanity. We should never allow ourselves, another person, another partner, to fall into the lower expressions. So, different ideas on friendship and relationship today. Thank you very much. Namaskar. And then, if you have something to say also, please write in the comments.